What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself. Your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like
you are now listening to CTR Media Network.
What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health and see we.
The podcast on CTR Media Network.
That's me. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks to her, my podcast is doing great.
350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence, all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far, you know. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com. Podcasting is trending. Celebrities and everyday people every single day are starting podcasts. You may be even thinking about starting a podcast yourself, but the question still remains the same. How can you start, launch, brand, market, and grow your podcast? How can you connect with the right people in the media and the podcasting industry in order to elevate your visibility? And what type of mindset do you really need to have in order to be a successful podcaster? And the big question, how can you monetize your podcast? Well, hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, host of the Tina Ramsey Show, podcast coach and podcast network owner. And the good thing is that I have you covered. You can ask all of these burning questions and so much more to our experienced media and podcasting professionals on our live Q&A at the Power of Podcasting event that I am personally inviting you to on May the 6th from 2 to 7 p.m. in Atlanta, Georgia at the Pop-Up and Create. I want you to experience for yourself a live taping of the Tina Ramsey Show, and your ticket, get this, includes our #1 podcast course, an autographed copy of the Power of Podcasting book, a swag bag with exclusive goodies, delicious food, and networking. So whether you're looking to just simply expand your knowledge, connect with like-minded individuals, or simply have a good time, Our event has something for everyone. So I don't want you to miss out on this once in a lifetime opportunity. So I want you to buy your ticket and secure your spot for our event, because it is the event of the year, because these tickets will sell out fast. So go to ctrmedianetwork.com and purchase your ticket today. I can't wait to see you there at the Power of Podcasting. Get your ticket today at ctrmedianetwork.com.
Aluva Life Greens actually started for me when I was 23 years old. I went out and bought a $400 industrial juicer, and I started juicing every single week. And I hated it. It took so much time, it cost money, and it was a process. That's when I started making the Life Greens product. It truly is the one drink that you should take every day for the rest of your life.
My name is Amy, and I absolutely love fitness. I'm a licensed cosmetologist and a professional makeup artist. Eating healthy is not the easiest thing. We get so busy in our lives, it's really hard to take the time to eat healthy and to eat right. My absolute favorite thing about this product is that they combine reds, greens, and probiotics in one mix. You put it in your water and you shake it up and voila, it's so easy and it tastes amazing. You'll feel a difference. Then you start believing that you really can change and that you can actually feel better.
Your path, they're giving you messages. It's a very I go back to the shamanic thing, but animals carry messages. You're able to commune with nature. If you observe nature, they're in harmony with their environment. They really are.
Yes.
They're in being mode versus doing mode.
Wow. Well, that's a really important tip, being in touch with nature.
Yep.
What others? What are some others?
Some others, plants, talking about nature, spend time in a garden. If you're able to, even if you live in an urban or in the city, you could have a patio and just get some plants and garden. You do an herb garden or something like that. But also, I invite you to turn off the news, turn off the electronic devices. Make sure that you leave your phone home sometimes. It's like, this is like an appendage that we grew. It's
so true.
I'm guilty of this myself, but the thing is that I really make it a conscious effort to, sometimes leave the phone in the house and go out in the backyard. Believe me, my emails and my messages will be there later.
They will be there. I think that's so important. And you know what, Dr. Dolores, all this electromagnetic radiation is not the best for us anyway. It's our inner being.
Absolutely. And how many people, put their phones in their clothing, like their pockets?
I know.
And, it's great now that we have like Bluetooth technology, but when we used to put it up to your phone, that can't be good for you.
No.
So it's just like, be mindful of where you're putting your phone too, because you might start having challenges with your health in those areas. So, which is an interesting thing too. So that's another conversation, but it's funny. We're more in the moment with our electronic devices than we are with ourselves.
We are. So what I'm hearing you say is, it's a must to shut this off.
I think so.
On a regular basis.
I would, if it's difficult for people to do it, I just invite you to take baby steps. Do it for 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Do it for 15 minutes every couple of hours. Set the timer and just walk away, sit on your couch, just be quiet and just allow yourself to sit in the quiet.
Exactly. Be
Sometimes for some people, being in a car driving is a very mindful activity, as long as they're not blasting AC/DC in the background, or, if they are, they're consciously doing that. I mean, but my point is that sometimes sitting in silence is where you are actually being, but you're receiving those golden nuggets that
That's right.
lead you to the next place that you need to go.
Dr. Dolores, while we're talking about this, tell us about your book. You wrote an amazing itty bitty book.
I did, and it was published in October of 2022, and it made Amazon bestseller. And it's about, I call it Healing in Ways You Never Thought Possible, 15 Tips to, I have to get this because it's such a long title. It says 15 tips. There we go.
I see it. Healing
Yeah.
in ways you never thought possible. 15 key steps to manifesting true health and lasting wellness.
Yes, and it's available on Amazon. But what it is, it's one of those books that you could actually put in your backpack, your purse, or whatever, and keep it with you. And just even when you're going through anything that's stressful or it's pushing your buttons,
Yes.
people have said that they've used this. They just get it out and just open it randomly, and it's just they get what they need. It's one of those.
Oh,
It's one of those books that it's very short, sweet, to the point, very bullet pointed, meaning that it's not like a big novel or a big book, because let's face it, our attention span today is like, so less is actually more. So if you're able to get your point across in concise units,
yes.
people will embrace it and learn it. I've written several other books and they were much longer, and I'm just finding that short, sweet, and to the point. It's like the KISS approach. Keep it simple, sweetie. You know what I'm saying? We make things way more complicated than they have to be. And that creates so much drama and chaos.
And
And
anxiety.
really, and it's just like, is it really necessary? It's not.
No, it's not.
And it's just
It's
like
not.
retraining people to look at it from that perspective, because once you're in your physical body, you're more grounded in yourself, and you're just more, you're in your body. But interesting, you probably experienced this too, Dr. Mary. It's like once you're there, it's like you're actually everywhere.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like you have this expanded awareness, but you're planted right in your body instead of you
deeply
being out
grounded.
there in your head, because you're
Exactly.
grounded. And that's huge, because you could make in the moment decisions, and you could trust that inner wisdom, because that's when you're able to tap into that. And that's when you're able to experience your emotions and then determine what you're going to do with it. Instead of reacting, you're more contemplative.
So before we close, how can our listeners get in touch with you and learn more about you?
They're welcome to go to my website. It's drdoloresfazzino.com. And I also have a free gift, and I'm going to leave the link for that too. And that is a guided meditation that helps you stay in the present moment.
Oh.
And it's a very short and sweet one. It's probably maybe 7 minutes total. And that's what I mean by short and sweet. It's very doable. And I invite people to sign up for that and to get a copy of it, because it's free, and just use it whenever you feel like you're getting rattled, or you're not in your body, and you're going to notice a huge difference after you experience that.
Is that right on your website?
It is, but I'm also going to leave the link for it as well.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's
beautiful.
there. So yeah, and my book's available on my website, and through the website you can get to where it is on Amazon. But I also have several others too that people might be interested in. It's if you're ready to make some changes in your life and embrace who you are, I'm a person for you that could help you. I've helped a lot of people.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, everything you've spoken about here is doable for every single one of us. Because I hear too many, in our minds, it's like, oh, I can't afford this. I can't. And I get it. Trust me, I truly get it. However, you can afford to take time for yourself. These resources that you're talking about, that meditation is free. You're giving a gift. You're giving a gift and a little itty bitty book. How reasonable is that? But there's pearls in there.
That's right. And the thing is, it's like, it's a new year, a new beginning.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
if people want to create more certainty in their life in an uncertain world, it's time to come within to exercise and
Yes.
develop that muscle. We all have that capability. It's, I look at it as a continuum. You either have not accessed it or you're fully accessed it, and everybody's along that way. And even when you get to, the other end of it, you're going to be blown away because you're still going to be learning stuff.
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
I learn new stuff every day. It's just mind boggling. I had to crack up because, I work with a lot of people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and I'm in my 60s.
Aluva Immune was actually something that was requested by our affiliates. Right now, people are more aware of their health than ever before, and you have to have the best immune system to help support all that's going on.
Hi, I'm Malaysia. I am a realtor and I'm also a mother of 4. After speaking with my friend, I mentioned to her how I'm always having to take a bunch of different types of vitamins for myself and for my children. She mentioned Aluva Immune. This covered everything from immune support to energy. I get my vitamin D, my vitamin C, my zinc, all in one. Not only that, the confidence that it gave me knowing that my kids were safe and protected against all of the germs that they were going to be coming in contact with at school. Vitamins aren't as easy to take for children as they are for adults. Luckily, with Aluva Immune, it's as simple as a dropper. My children love it. It tastes great, and it's so easy to administer. It has my back, and I know I can trust it to support myself and my children.
Hello, this is your host, Tracy Halcrumby with Beauty for Ashes with Tracy. And we are a self-care, mental health awareness podcast that enlightens, inspires, and encourages listeners on how to create wellness. And we also offer strategies for a healthier mindset. How is everyone doing this afternoon? I hope everyone is well. I'm good. We're past our Valentine's Day. We're past my birthday. So we're at a different episode this week. And I wanted to share with you about mental health first aid, mental health first aid certification training, and the benefits of becoming a mental health first aider. I first want to just share with you, as you've been seeing in my advertisement and you see some of my posts, that is the educational training for my nonprofit organization, Joy Inside Tears. The educational training that I offer is mental health first aid. Mental health first aid is a 3-year certification training that offers all first aiders the resources, tools, skills, and everything to be able to identify, understand, and respond to signs of mental illness and substance use disorders. It gives you the skills you need to reach out and provide the initial help to someone who may be experiencing or developing a mental health or substance use problem, or as well as to experiencing a crisis. So this is what we do. So if you become mental health first aid certified, you would be amongst those who are teachers, first responders, and veterans. You would be neighbors to someone, parents, and either friends. You will also be a person who may be in recovery or you're there to support a loved one. Mental health first aiders, they are ladies and mayors, anyone who wants to make their community healthier, happier, and safer for everyone. So this is why mental health first aid is important. And just to give you a little bit of insight on who are the mental health first aid trained. So we, Mental Health USA, Mental Health First Aid USA, have reached more than 2.5 million people across the United States. And we have trained in mental health first aid also more than 15,000 instructors. And guess what? I'm a part of that group of the 15,000 instructors. So I decided to get mental health first aid trained because during a point in my life, experiencing the loss of my son, I did not know what to do. I did not realize any signs or symptoms that would have alerted me to this is where he may have been experiencing or thinking about for his suicidal ideations. So now I'm at the point where what I've learned, I just want to share, and I also want to train people in the same way. So mental health first aid does matter. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information about it. Most of us wouldn't know how to help someone if we saw them having a heart attack. We start CPR right away, or we'd at least call 911. But there are few of us, very few of us who would know what to do if someone was having a panic attack, or if they were concerned that their friend or coworker may be experiencing some signs of alcoholism or mental health issues or mental illness. So what this does, mental health first aid, it just takes the fear and hesitation out of starting a conversation about your mental health or substance use problems. So it improves the understanding and it provides an action plan that teaches you the responsibility to safely identify and address these potential mental illnesses or substance use orders. Now, we do not diagnose as mental health first aiders. We do let the professionals, your psychiatrists or your counselors, wants to diagnose. We do not diagnose, but we are there and we are equipped with the tools that someone would need to start the dialogue and to get the people help that they need. We are a vital link to someone experiencing these challenges. So if you wanted to become a mental health first aider, what you would do if you were going to take my class, I would let you know when we would have a class started. I teach corporately as well as individual classes, but my individual classes can be virtual. Most corporate are in person. Some of those would be virtual, but bulk of it, it doesn't matter what state you lived in, what side of the world, we would just set up our time frame to know I'm on Eastern, so you would have to be attending a class virtually that started on Eastern Standard Time. So with that being said, there would be some coursework to complete. So we wouldn't have an 8-hour day. You would complete some self-paced online learning until we had our virtual class meeting. And to start a class individually, I would just need 5 individuals to start a class. We don't hold classes for 1 person or 2. We have a 5-person minimum, and we can go up to 30 people. So just to know a little bit about that. So what we want to figure out is what's the impact that's being had across the globe with mental health first aid. And there's so many people that we're finding issues that are most appropriate to take to our school. So in an article for Mental Health First Aid USA, the media contact talked to someone in Washington. This was from Washington, D.C. in January of this year. that school board members nationwide consider student mental health the most pressing issue facing schools today, according to a national survey of school board commissioned by the Mental Health First Aid USA. So again, with that being said, the school board felt that 86% are a concern. That's the number one concern out of 86% of the school board members, is the mental health dialogue that needs to be had, as well as the education. So by student health being number one in school boards, they're either reporting that it's an extreme concern, they're very concerned, or it's a high level of concern than expressed for school funding. So we're constantly working on how to get more funding. Even my organization, right now, we provide our classes for free, but we are also seeking funding so that we continue to educate in mental health first aid. So the schools express the funding. They also express staffing challenges. They're expressing school safety. So at a time when so many of our children are facing mental health or substance use crisis, they recognize, which is the school boards, that we need to respond. They also know that the schools, the families, and the teens themselves can play an important role in how they address one another, and they are eager to find the tools that can help make a difference. So with the training, there is an adult mental health first aid, which I am an instructor as well as certified in, and there is a youth mental health first aid. And that's also part of a teen component. So they have teen and they have youth. So it's been proven to be a valuable resource for more than 700 schools in 36 states. So this does come at a time where the nation continues to grapple with mental health crises. Now, not only is suicide the third leading cause of death for youth 15 through 19, 1 in 4 adolescents aged 12 to 17 have had a substance use disorder and or major depressive disorders in the past year. So these numbers are continuously increasing. So we strongly know that as an advocate, that I'm with NAMI. As an advocate, I'm also with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And we know at state and local levels, we advocate with policymakers. And we have to do this a great deal more because this addresses student mental health. It addresses state legislators to do a great deal more. It also addresses our county officials as well as the need for them to do a great deal more. We have made strides and came a long way, especially getting the Lifeline with 988 and all of those things set up so it could be a national thing. So we need to just know, though, when it comes to recognize the signs of a student experiencing mental health challenge, including thoughts of suicidal behaviors, that it ranks higher that the parents, close family members, and friends are most likely to see the signs first. So we need to know how to recognize the signs and what important first steps that we need to take as an individual. So we need to become mental health first aid trained and develop the skills to help someone who may be developing a mental health or substance use challenge. And all the evidence are pointing towards not only just the young America, but also still within our adults. But they're seeing a high rise evidence training in the teen mental health first aid, that grades 10 through 12, or ages 15 to 18, identify the signs and symptoms the most right now. But what we need to just understand that there are ways, and mental health first aid is one way that we can teach the young people as well as our adults how to open a supportive conversation about mental health and substance use with your friends and the people that are most important to you, and how that they can seek the help of a responsible, trusted adult if you are talking to a minor or adolescent. So you need to point them also in the right direction. Once again, the mental health first aider would not diagnose, but we would be able to have an action plan available if we encountered someone who was experiencing a mental health challenge or a mental substance use disorder, as well as a mental health disorder and challenge. So what we want to do is first understand that in the peer-reviewed studies, the training increases learners' knowledge of the signs, of the symptoms, and of the risk factors associated with both the mental health and substance use. So we become more confident in our ability, and we are helpful in the likelihood to get an individual help that's in distress. So this makes the situation a little bit more easier to be resolved if we know how to handle situations and not try to shun from the responsibility or negate a opportunity to help someone because we don't know what they're experiencing or how to help them in that way. So we do have a lot of self-help resources for individuals, and we do have a lot of information out here that would help people in distress or that's going through any challenge that refers to your mental health. So once again, this is a evidence-based training administered by the National Council for Mental Well-Being, and it teaches you how to identify, understand, and respond to signs of mental health and substance use challenges. Now, we have more than 2.9 people across the United States that have been trained in mental health first aid by a dedicated base of 15,000 instructors. And once again, I am one of those proud instructors. So if you are interested in mental health first aid training, adult mental health first aid training, do go to my website, joyinsidetears.com. And I'm going to have that listed here. You're going to go to joyinsidetears.com, or you're going to go to info@joyinsidetears.com, because these are all information. These are all pieces of information and resource that we need to make sure that in these times and crisis that we are able to help someone. So we're going to definitely go to joyinsidetears.com. It's going to be one of those things there. And we're also going to go to, for info on when our classes are, you could go to info@joyinsidetears.com. And I don't know why I didn't have this done first. I was so excited just to tell you a little bit about it that I forgot that you do need to know where you can reach us. info@joyinsidetears.com. And so this is where you can email my organization and we can help you to get a class. Once again, the classes are free and you won't have to pay for any classes. And we're so happy to probably share with you all the knowledge that I have been given through this training, because we are suffering in silence in many communities. And I did not know what encompassed mental health first aid, because someone may think that person may just be mentally distressed, but it is panic attack, it is eating disorder, it is a schizophrenia, it is a person who suffers from bipolar disorder, it is a person who suffers from hallucinations, it is a person who suffers from substance abuse, it is a person who suffers from suicidal ideation, it is a person that suffers from depression, it is a person who suffers from anxiety. There are so many things that mental health encompasses, that is just not about someone not in their right mind as we used to identify mental health with. So we're eager to share all the information. And once again, this is a 3-year certificate training. After you complete your mental health first aid training, we provide a certificate to you once it's completed that is good for 3 years. Once again, this is just like your CPR training or your basic life support, where you would be certified for the 3 years through your American Red Cross or whomever you take your CPR training through. We certify you for 3 years. And in that time, you're also able to become an instructor if you decide to. You're able to help in any capacity. There is so much. Corporately, we're reaching out to people and organizations because we realize this is a workplace issue. When you're at work and you're missing work, or you're not functioning properly at work, and you have your departments that deal with the mental health piece, whether it's your employees assistance program or whether it's your human resource programs, we need you trained as well. We need educational staff at the schools trained. We need everyone trained to be able to identify and help someone that is in need, that is suffering a mental health challenge. So with all that being said, I thank you so much for your time. We're also going to be able to give you another episode. I can go much deeper into this, but this was just an informational to let you know what I do offer through my organization, Joy Inside Tears, which is a nonprofit organization. It is a 501(c) organization. All proceeds are going. If you give to Joy Inside Tears, this is what it helps to do. It helps support those in mental health. It helps provide resources, advocacy, which means I'm advocating for you. I'm with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, as well as with NAMI in Georgia, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness. So we want you to continue to get the help that you need, to make sure that you're in the right place to help someone who may be experiencing a mental illness, because this is what it's all about, the help that we need when we are experience a challenge and when we don't know what to do, we don't know how to help, but we can help you to help others. Let's get involved. Let's get involved. Let's advocate. Avocation means reaching out to your local government, your state government, your legislators, your senators, letting them know how much we need the resources, how much we need the trainings, how much we need to be educated, how much the the providers, like your counselors and your therapists, how much they need the resources to provide the services that their insurance can pay for. So that also sometimes gives issues in that way, because you're going to your providers and your insurance may not be able to cover your mental health, the department that you're going to, that you have to get the help through. All I'm saying that the insurance sometimes may not cover those treatments. That was the word. I get so passionate. I sometimes lose the thoughts of what I wanted to say, but either way, I think you know what I'm talking about. I think you know where I'm going with this, and I've made it very clear. Mental health first aid trainer is essential to our very being, for all of us, for our communities, for our homes, for our families, for our churches, for our workplace. There are so many people who need your help as well as my help. Consider becoming a mental health first aider. Once again, Joy Inside Tears. Go to joyinsidetears.com and you can look at my website. It's very, very nicely laid out. Please donate. When you do that, you're helping me to provide the training services for free. You also can go to info@joyinsidetears. That's the contact page, or that's the email that gives me the information, and I can let you know a class schedule that's coming up for February and March. I am full for Saturday classes, and I will open up some more classes in April. Joy Inside Tears is so busy for the cause. We're offering support group meetings, and those can also be virtual as well as in person, because we have them in the community. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for listening. And as I said, supporting all the platforms that I am on, because this is not about me. This is about me being commissioned to help you to understand that we are all in this together, and we are in a national crisis with suicide, and we need to know how we can prevent suicide if at all possible. And it is possible if we are trained in how to combat and how to impact the lives of someone else through the training. This is Tracy Halcombe, your host with Joy Inside Tears, as well as Beauty for Ashes with Tracy. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon on the next episode. I'll also give you more information about mental health first aid and the essential actions of mental health first aid. Thank you for tuning into this episode on mental health first aid informational. I appreciate it.
Hello, welcome to Ingeniously Made Whole. My name is Brittany Petty, and today we are going to be talking about social media. So I am so glad for you guys to be tuning in. As you guys know, you can follow me on TikTok at IMW Counselor Petty. You can follow me on Facebook at Ingeniously Made Whole, as well as the gram, which is Instagram, Ingeniously Made Whole. So today we are going to be talking about social media. And I have a special guest with me today, Bryson, who is going to talk a little bit about social media and different things of that nature. But before we get started, as you guys know, you can get a copy of my book, Stop the Drama, Stop Comparing, and Focus on You. I was blessed to be at a vending event last week where so many young ladies were blessed to receive a copy of my book. and my planner. I have a planner for teen girls that goes over different scriptures and different things of that nature, and it's to help them 365 days of the year talk about different issues they might be experiencing, such as drama with their friends, just how to, self-love, how to deal with different situations that might occur, because sometimes everyone doesn't have a nurturing, loving environment. And that's one thing I try to tell my kids all the time, and I do tell them, is that you need to be appreciative and understand that everyone doesn't have the same loving environment that you have. And because of that, you need to be more understanding and willing to help others. So again, today we're going to be talking about social media. If you have my book, that is part of chapter 2 about don't get stuck in the comparison syndrome. Okay. So when we talk about social media and setting those parameters and things of that nature, I am going to read an excerpt from my book. My TikTok is popping. My social media is on point. Yes. So who cares about social media, right? Or are you the opposite? Are you like, you know what? I'm trying to see how many likes I get and how many followers I have. And from there, this allows me to realize that I'm either A, popular, or B, not. How many times have you gotten on social media, scrolled and scrolled, and next thing you know, you've been on social media for 2+ hours? I'm going to stop right there, because those are some great talking points. Being on social media for hours when you thought you were going to just check a message, right? Or just see what's going on. If you look on your phone, especially if you have an iPhone, it'll tell you how long you've been. How long have you really been on social media? Okay. So first, I want to focus on letting you guys know the importance of, social media and, the pros and cons. So social media, it has its pros and cons, right? I think some good things about social media is the ability to help you stay focused and connected with your family and your friends. It helps you keep up with people's birthdays. It helps you know what's going on in everyone's life, right? Without you having to, actually pick up the phone and call everybody, right? Like back in the day. What are some reasons you would say social media is good, Bryson?
Okay, so first thing that kind of makes it like good, then sometimes like it kind of really helpful for people, because sometimes they can kind of like put a reminder on it that they accidentally forget about it. Then the reminder like comes up, and then they remember it, and then they really remember it or to do it.
Okay, so we also have another guest here, Jamal Petty. Why is another reason social media is good?
Another reason why social media is good is because social media can like help you stay connected.
Okay, so kind of like what we already talked about, being able to stay connected and different things of that nature. So those are some things that are important. But why is social media bad? I think social media can be bad because it takes so much time away from people, but that's a self-control issue, right? That you could be focused on yourself and things of that nature. And so when you think about you and yourself and different things of that nature, it's important for you to say, you know what? I don't need to be on social media this amount of time per day and things of that nature. So when you are looking at yourself and you're like, should I spend this kind of time or spend that kind of time? Really, most people, they don't think about it like that, right? They don't ask themselves how much time should they spend on social media, right? But if you are trying to better yourself and you know that you don't like where you are in life, whether you're like, you know what, I'm tired of the lifestyle that I'm living, I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck, you can utilize social media for good things to help you make those connections with others, to help you determine what it is that you want to do better or determine your next move, whether you find someone to connect with to volunteer, get another job, change up what you're doing day to day. But you can use technology to help advance your skills and help you. So that way that you are putting yourself in a better situation. But then again, it comes to having that mindset, right? Having the mindset to say, you know what, where I am today, I will not be in the same place a year from now, 2 years from now. But you have to put in the work. It's not just saying it. You have to also believe what you are saying, right? So what is your question that you have to ask?
Okay, well, the first thing is this. What inspired you to write this comedy book?
All right, so what inspired me to write this book called Stop the Drama, Stop Comparing, and Focus on You? I was inspired to write this book because I, as a middle school teacher, I saw so much going on in the classroom, and I saw so much drama in between young ladies. And it was just to the point I noticed, like with young men, they were able to have a disagreement. They might fight about it. And then the next day they either stay away from each other, they learn to move on, or they cohabitate, right? But when it comes to young ladies, I noticed for them, the drama just kept going on and on. Sometimes the drama would start at the beginning of the year and go on all the way to the end of the year. It would be so many instances where the drama didn't concern a lot of the young ladies, but because their friend was like, hey, you can't be friends with her. Hey, you can't do this. Hey, you can't do that. Then you look up and now you have all these young ladies beefing, ready to fight, ready to, beat someone else up, smack their head in the concrete. Just too much going on. And so for me, I was like, you know what is a way that I can be positive and spread positivity across the world? Because there's enough drama. Our TV shows are catered to drama. A lot of reality TV is drama. You get more views, the more drama, the more fights, the more this, the more that you do, right? But positivity doesn't necessarily get that many likes. But I realized that at the end of the day, I'm accountable for my actions. I'm accountable for being able to help others. So if I can do that, that is what I'm willing to do. And so that brings me back to my Benny event. I was so grateful for all the young ladies who ran to go grab their parents to come get my book and show it to them so they can understand, like, hey, like, this is what I'm doing. So many people stop at my table and say, you're doing a great work out here. And so this is one of those things, you don't have to be in education to understand why I'm so passionate about helping other young ladies. But you understand, like, I know there's so many parents. I've talked to so many parents that said, I need help with this team. I need help. I don't know what to do. And then we can all admit that things are different from when our parents raised us. Things are different from when our parents' were raised. And so it's important to understand that we have to change and, find different ways to reach our children. We can't just let them go. And that's another reason I wrote this book. I saw so many people were having children, and by the time they get a certain age, whether it's 4th or 5th grade, 6th or 7th grade, they're letting go. They're working, they're doing these things, they're tired of the fight. It's like arm wrestling, right? Each person has their objective in the ring. And one person wants to get their point across and the other person wants to get their point across. And so with that being said, as parents, sometimes we say, you know what, I can't do this. And we just give up and let them have it. But then we have to realize that we are put here on earth for a reason. And that's to lead and guide not our parents, but lead and guide our children. And so because we're leading and guiding them, we have to know that, yes, they don't understand because their brain is not fully developed. They don't understand everything that we are doing and what we're teaching them. But day in and day out, one day they're going to get it, right? One day they're going to look back and say, you know what? I understand what my mother was trying to tell me. I understand what my father, my grandparents, my brother, sister, whoever their guardian is, was trying to teach them. And so when you understand that, then the sky is the limit, and know that everyone's not against you. But a lot of times when I talk to a lot of teens, they think the whole world's against them. They think they're the only ones dealing with things. And as we know, even in life, in our adulthood, we feel like, oh, I'm all alone. But we're not all alone. Everyone's trying to do the race, right? Win the race to pay the bills, right? Everyone knows every month those bills are coming again and again and again. Everyone has dealt with some form of pain, some form of hurt, some form of abuse. Everyone has dealt with something, but the way that we handle it, the way that we heal from it, that is how that determines our next course of level. We have to pass the test, right? But the way that we deal with it helps us determine how we grow. And then how much wiser we become to say, you know what got me into this situation, I'm not ever going to return there. And so that's why it's so important for us to not do that. So thank you, Bryson, for being with us today. And now we have Mr. Jamal that's also going to come and speak with us. What question do you have today, Jamal?
So my question ties back to the social media part. How does social media impact you?
Well, social media is very impactful because, for instance, being an entrepreneur, social media has allowed me to be able to take my businesses to a whole new level. I've been able to meet and connect with people from all across the world on so many different aspects, which has allowed me to become an international bookseller. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity. Social media has allowed me the ability to meet with so many people. And I've met, authors who are #1 booksellers. I've met all types of connections to millionaires, multimillionaires. And so a lot of these opportunities would not have been made available to me if I did not have access to social media. But it's about you and your ability to be wise in your decisions and how you utilize social media. So like a lot of people will tell you, hey, if you're not using your social media or the internet to get paid, that's a you issue, right? That's a you problem. And so it really just depends on you and your mindset. I love the fact that I'm able to connect with so many individuals. I'm able to get motivation. There are some days that I feel like, you know what, I don't know how I'm going to do this, right? Or some days I might feel kind of down, right? Because, we're all human. We all have those days. But I can get on social media, see a positive quote, and boom, I'm right back up to where I need to be. And so I'm really grateful for that. So do you have another question?
And how would social media negatively impact you?
Social media for myself does not negatively impact me. I know for a lot of young ladies it has when it comes to comparing oneself. And that would be the only thing that I would say at times that I have been guilty of that in my ways of growing up, comparing myself to someone else. But then I realized, no, God gave them their roadmap to life or success, and I have my own. So it's important for me not to compare myself to anyone else. And so in life, we have to remember that God has created us all unique in his own image, right? He knew us before we were formed in our womb. And so because of that, God did not create us all to be the same. In that case, he would have made us all clones, created us all at one time, been boom, 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 done, right? But he didn't do that. And because of that, I know that I have a specific purpose here on earth, and so I have to ask myself, just like my book mentor coach, Taria Avant, that says all the time, she wanted to make sure that she is known and making a difference and know the impact that she is making on others while she's here on earth. It's not about when you die and all these people are lined up at your funeral, right? Which is great, right? But at the end of the day, I want to know that I made an impact and a difference on your life while I'm alive. And so it's the same thing for me as well. I want to know what impact am I making? And so social media, it can be negative, but that's only if you allow it to be. And if you allow yourself to say, oh, this or oh, that. But at the end of the day, if you focus on yourself, hence my book, right? Focus on yourself. If you are so focused on yourself, then you're not going to be worried about the next person. If anything, we're all going to come together and say, how can we help each other? How can we help each other strive and get to the top? And so for me, social media is motivation. When I see others win, I'm right there applauding. I'm right there clapping, because my thing is, if God did it for them, he'll do it for me. I know that no one is any different from me, or I'm not any different from anyone else. And so I know that I can utilize my God-given talents and ability just like God is giving them the ability to do it. And sometimes it's about connecting. Sometimes we just need to have the knowledge. Knowledge is powerful. And it's so powerful that we have to not only hear it, but we have to apply it and utilize it. And so I heard one coach one time said, I give you all the nuggets, I give you all the tools to success, but the key is up to you. Are you going to utilize it? Are you going to use it to better yourself and be better? And so in life, we have to remember that if we want to be better, we have to strive to be better day in and day out. The course is ours. And so at the end of the day, the decision is yours. So like they say, and I know I've said it plenty of times, but I'll say it again, we don't get to pick and choose who our family is. We don't get to pick and choose who our mother or father or our siblings are, right? And we also don't get to choose if we're born into poverty or if we're born into money, right? But at the end of the day, once we get grown and we're on our own, it's up to us. So if you're born into poverty, are you going to have to work harder? Yes. because you've been instilled with the mindset and the this and the that. And so you have to get your mind right. And I've heard so many people who have made it to success say that they had to get their mind right. And once they got their mind right, they realized their life went to a whole nother level. And so in life, we have to remember that if we want to be better, we have to give ourselves and do what God has called of us to do. And so thank you so much, Jamal, for joining us today. And so when we come and talk about social media and how we're going to utilize it, I definitely challenge you to have a game plan. And I'm not telling you that anything's wrong with keeping up with other people, what's going on and things of that nature. But what I am telling you is don't get so sucked into this person's lifestyle and that person's life, because first of all, you don't even know if that's a reality. You don't know if they are really living their life like that. Are they really that person that they're saying and claiming themselves to be? And so because of that, it's important for you to say, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to do what I know I need to do. So set the time limit. Set a limit on your phone to say, I'm not going to spend this much any more than this amount of time on social media. And also plan out ways. I challenge you to plan out ways. How can I utilize social media in a way that is beneficial, bettering myself? So if it's looking at quotes, follow the things that you want to promote positivity in your life. When I get on social media, even if it's for like 5 minutes, I say, okay, I'm gonna get on for 5 minutes. When I scroll, I'm seeing positivity because that's what I have elected to see. And so you're gonna see what you have allowed yourself and spent the most time on to see. There's a way for you to set limits on that. Like on Facebook, you can see the things that you want to see. They'll ask you, do you want to see more of this? Click yes if you want to see positivity. When it comes to Instagram, don't spend all your time on the ground. Don't do that, okay? Especially if you're not getting paid, okay? But it's important for you to just know yourself and just really come into yourself, understand your self-worth, checking on yourself. Don't forget to take care of you, because if you don't take care of you, you cannot take care of anyone else. And so for myself, that is what I am focusing on, is the ability to take care of me, the ability to do what God has called me to do. And so for each and every one of you guys, you all have a purpose. You all have a reason for being here on earth. Don't let someone tell you that your life is a mistake. Don't let someone tell you that, oh, you were a one-night stand, oh this, oh that, I ain't want you no way. Don't let anybody tell you that. Because when I tell you, when you know and when you understand your worth and where you are headed in life, if you knew there was a way for us to see into the future, everything that God has in store for us ahead of time, oh man, we walk differently, we'd act different, we talk different, we be different, we do all these different things, right? But I am challenging you to love yourself, to say, you know what? I am worthy. I deserve all that God has for me. And walk in it. Walk in it. Don't walk with your head down. Walk with your head held high, because you know who you are and you know whose you are. So again, thank you for tuning in to IMW Ingeniously Made Whole, where you are fearfully and wonderfully made whole. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok at IMW Counselor Petty, and Instagram and Facebook at Ingeniously Made Whole IMW. So don't forget. You can also follow me on LinkedIn at IMW Brittany Petty. And again, thank you guys for tuning in, coming to see what I'm all about, and just continue. And I hope that you've been blessed. And if you have been blessed, make sure you leave me a comment. Make sure you like. Make sure you follow. Do all these things, because you know what? At the end of the day, it's about you bettering yourself, loving yourself. Because if you don't fill your cup up of self-love first, you can't love others, okay? If you can't look in the mirror and say, I love myself, day in and day out, treat yourself with love and kindness, then you won't make it. And so you have to love yourself. You have to model it for yourself. Whatever it is you're trying to do in life, you have to model it first. Walk in excellence first. Okay, so if you want more positivity, you got to lead with positivity. If you want more peace, you have to lead with peace. When I started shutting things down in my life and said, you know what? If it's chaotic, I don't want it. When I started praying over my home and said, peace, no chaos, man, God turned some things around for me. And so I am challenging you to give yourself the chance and the ability to be great. Be great. Walk in excellence. Walk in your passion. Walk in your purpose. Be who God has created you to be. Okay? Because if you don't know the Lord, now's the perfect time for you to say, you know what? I want to know a little bit more about the Lord. And the good thing is you can always start, like I told a guy the other day, you can always start with downloading the Bible out. Because at the end of the day, it's about you and your ability to know who you are and whose you are. Do your own self-discovery. You don't have to take my word. You don't have to take anybody's word. Do your own self-discovery, because everything you need to know is right there at your fingertips. So again, thank you guys for tuning in to Ingeniously Made Whole, where today we talked about social media, the pros and the cons, and the best way to use it, and do a self-check. You know, if you know you've been on it too long, you need to cut it out. All right, guys, y'all have a good night. Again, thank you guys for
Everyone, I'm very grateful that you took the time to tune in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor.
Hello, everyone.
And all
Welcome
of our
to the
guests
Kim
that
Jacobs
come
Show.
on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Kim Jacobs Show. You all see these women here. Can you hear me, Sunshine Expert? Okay. You all see these women here, and guess who they are? Some of our Freestyle Friday experts. So welcome Dr. Jody Bear, America's top health coach. How are you?
I'm awesome because I'm with you on Freestyle Friday.
And I'm happy to hear that you are, what is it that's happening over there? Right quick, tell us.
The offshoot of a roof that wasn't repaired correctly from Hurricane Ian. We are displaced from our home for a few weeks, but the good news is that I'm broadcasting from a hotel lobby, and here we are.
And you're still here, showing up, making what? Athena, our Sunshine Expert, unmute yourself, and she's making what?
She is not making any excuses. She getting the job done. She is in the building, regardless of what, no matter what the situation, she is still winning.
And that is from our Sunshine Expert, who's going to be talking about no excuses today. And Dr. Jody Bear is going to be talking about confidence tones, and you're going to learn a lot more about that. And we want to make sure that no matter what Dr. Jody Bear is going through, what's on her plate, what's on her mental plate, that she doesn't experience something as well as you, Athena, or myself, or anybody in the virtual studio audience, that we don't experience what, Natasha Halliday? Burnout. That's what our mental health expert, Natasha Halliday, is going to be talking about today. How to prevent burnout. So you guys, we are in for a tremendous treat right here on the Kim Jacobs Show, and I am encouraging you to share this broadcast between learning about confidence tones, burnout, and how to make no excuses. You're going to be on a wonderful roller coaster ride, raising your hands and saying, wee, because we're going to learn so much, so we feel a little bit more uplifted and edified by the end of today's episode. We'll be right back, everyone, right after our first episode sponsor and commercial break from attorney Hunter and Everidge Law Firm. We'll be right back. And then we're going to get started, ladies. Let's see who we want to start with first. Oh, boy. I don't know. Who wants to go first? Okay. It's like you. You know what? Let's start with the confidence tones. I want to start with confidence tones today. And then we'll go right to our no excuses and then how to avoid burnout. I think we should end on that, how to avoid burnout. All right, we'll be right back, everybody. Y'all are hearing like the behind the scenes conversation. Okay, we could talk about that backstage. We'll be right back. We'll be back.
When someone has lost a loved one, they want to know what exactly happened. They want to know, is the other person going to be held responsible? And they want closure. At Hunter and Everett, we help clients that have lost a loved one move on, and to do that with dignity and respect that they deserve.
Today, we are bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. We are talking with our Freestyle Friday experts who's kind enough to join us in today's studio audience. And today's episode is sponsored by Hunter Everett Law Firm. Give them a call if you're in the Alabama area, the Richmond, Virginia area, the Charlotte, North Carolina, and Carolinas area, South or North Carolina. Give them a call at 704-251-2945 and let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. All right, who's tuning in right now before we kick off with our first expert? And hopefully you all have shared this broadcast. I see some of our experts in right now. So what we're going to do is just also take a moment to just share the broadcast and let everybody know that it's time to hear about confidence tones. I'm going to play the commercial, if you don't mind, Dr. Jody, first.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And then
Good
we're
idea.
going to jump right into the discussion with you. All right. We'll be right back after we learn about what we're going to be talking about right after this break.
Welcome to Confidence Tones, where we use a proprietary.
We're going to probably play that again too, because once you hear what Dr. Jody Baer is saying pertaining to confidence tones, you're going to learn even more. But I do want you to know that for more information about confidence tones, you're going to be able to go to Dr. Jody Baer's website, and I'll put this information right in the comment section. You'll be able to call a 1-800 number, and we're going to learn more about that after we hear from Dr. Jody Baer herself. Talk to us, Dr. Jody.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you for the opportunity for us with this project and with this part of what I do, an associated company that we are now partnered with the Kim Jacobs Show. I'm so honored to be one of your sponsors with this. And why is this important? For those of you that don't know me, I am Dr. Jody Baer, known as America's top foundational health coach. For over 4 decades, I've had the privilege of bringing over 30,000 clients through over 1 million pounds of toxic fat loss. And in the COVID era, and this is when this was developed, over 3,000 people have reclaimed, regained, and restarted their health. Now, I'm going to make a medical claim. There is no medical claims on this because the body put in the right condition can and will heal itself. And this is what Confidence Tones does. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that Chinese medicine, all the years, you go ahead and pay your doctor if you stay well. But if you go ahead and get sick, the doctor pays you. And finally, the time has arrived to do exactly that, exactly what we're talking about here in Western medicine. The time has arrived because frequency, we are talking about keeping your energy high and frequency high. Well, energy creates vitality, as I've said many, many times on the Kim Jacobs Show. And I apologize about you might hear some background noise.
We don't hear any noise. All we hear is you.
Wonderful, wonderful. But it's energy creates vitality, which transcends to longevity. You only have a certain amount of energy. So how do you replenish? Natasha's going to be talking about in a minute, and it just so goes together, because if your brain is going like this, you have cognitive dissonance. That's like going down the one way, the wrong way on the street. How about if we went ahead and went parallel? You went with the traffic flow. That's what brain entrainment does. When we say feel better, do better, live better, I'm so happy that I was able to give input on this program, on this product, and doing this cognitive dissonance. You see, I had a personal situation 15 years ago when I was in an auto accident.
Okay.
I was hit by a drunk driver. I had no short-term memory. They said, brain gone. But remember that muscle memory, the body can and will put in the right condition, heal itself. I used anti-inflammatories. I used what I believe a modality of acupuncture. It was my acupuncture physician. He said, have you ever thought about doing binaural beats? That's what all was around back 15 years ago. I listened to this 3 times a day, and through the detoxification process that you've heard me talk about prior on other Kim Jacobs shows. 45 days later, when somebody said, hi, I'm Natasha Holiday. Hi, I'm Athena Robertson, I would have to pull up and say, oh, that was Natasha. And Athena, it started coming back. You can retrain your brain. So let me ask you this. Do you know anyone who's been through trauma? Just put it in the chat. Do you know somebody who's been through trauma?
Yes.
Do you know someone who has stress in their life, anxiety, insomnia, even chronic conditions like fibromyalgia, just chronic pain? We've created a brain entrainment program. Now, I'm not making any medical claims. No. One for cancer client patients. We've done one for diabetes. We've got one with weight loss. I'm telling you, the cortisol just drips off of your body and you just feel great because it says feel better, do better, live better. You name it, a condition is on there. Now, you've heard me talk about the 6 pillars of human existence: spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, social, and financial. We created in Confidence Tones mastery with a 6-pillar mastery of all those areas. How would it feel to be in your body a perfect 10 in all 6 pillars of your life? How about if you knew if you had an abusive relationship, and with 21 days, which is the reticular activating system going through, and that system that keeps going and going and going, and you have that program of 21 days that you could go and enter in and restore your mental capacity, then enter into a new phase of brain improvement. Remember, muscle memory, you have it with your gallbladder, your back, your heart, your liver, your brain too, but it starts with the brain. And then you can elevate. What would happen in 21 days? I've seen it over and over and over in clients, because the subconscious mind, and then I'll open it up for any questions, Kim. The subconscious mind is the mind that neither slumbers nor sleeps. So if it's going like crazy like this, and then you say, but I really want to do better, and this is up here and this is not here, Confidence Tones brings it all together and brings them to. And that's when you do better, feel better through, remember I said 15 years ago, I only had my own personal experience with binaural beats. These are made now, the 2.0, 3.0 version, alpha, beta, binaural beats, isochronic tones, theta, and every other level and letter of the alphabet. You can retrain your brain. That's the topic of today. You can retrain your brain. So when you retrain your brain, how are you going to feel physically? How are you going to feel emotionally in your relationships? Let me tell you what Bob Bear and I were going through with this relocation from mold remediation. I put on that stress and anxiety relief. I said, we're going to listen to this. Then we listened to a quick 10-minute tone of positivity. And we came out and just hugged each other. Now that's worth the price of tea, isn't it, in China or any other place? So back to you, Kim. I know you have some questions. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, I'm actually intrigued for us to open it up for some discussion. And even here on the panel, I know I have questions and thoughts. Many times when I hear people talk from a Confidence Tones or an energy perspective, the reason I sometimes stay, I'm only being totally transparent here. This is me, Kim. The reason I stay clear of some of it sometimes is because it's usually linked to something spiritual. And so for me, I'm only representing Kim Jacobs, y'all. Y'all can represent yourselves. But whenever I think of it, I think of, am I going into the realm of dealing with something from a spirituality perspective? And I know what I believe, and I feel like straight, this is what I believe. But I also, and then this is where I'm riding the fence. I hope God don't spew me out of his mouth. Because I'm being probably lukewarm. Pray my strength in the Lord. But the other piece is that everything that you're saying, Dr. Jody, of being able to retrain the brain. And when I study retraining the brain, some things like being aware of my thoughts and turning negative thoughts that's kind of permeating and trying to plague and bog my brain down into something that's more productive. Understanding what actually causes me to even be in this mindset. What's burning me out? What's aggravating? It's so many different things that come to mind. What are your thoughts pertaining to that?
I totally agree, because I am a spiritual being. I know what I believe. Now, I'm coming from the healing and medical side of things, being a health coach and holistic nutritionist. See, I'm not half-listic, Kim, Natasha, ladies and gentlemen, Athena. No, I am holistic. You get down and you pull the dandelion up by the root so it doesn't come back. This is what you're doing. So you're giving a new pathway for that brain. If you had trauma in your life, if you've had any kind of a chronic illness, like I said, if you have problems with sleeping, yes, you can take even an herb, a remedy, but that's half holistic. What is causing your brain not to relax enough to get into that REM sleep? And then the tones create that. I'm glad you like that. I'm holistic, not half holistic. So
I put that up. I was like, okay, I have to type that. I'm not typing too much today, but I have to type that.
So you get into that pathway, into that stream of the river. So you're not like a salmon swimming upstream. You're not going against the current. You're going with the flow of life, how your brain is supposed to be. And then you retrain your brain. I'm going to come back to trauma because that is so important. You see so much of this in mental illness. And I just spoke at a virtual event last week for the National Association of Mental Illness. It's rapid. It's pandemic since the pandemic. So what if you could train and use the circadian rhythm of 21 days to retrain and go into your brain to figure out what in the Sam heck is still there from that trauma, because your brain remembers. Remember, the subconscious doesn't slumber or sleep. And then you could put in new, like, it's like, what are you doing oftentimes when you're half holistic? I'm going to give a spiritual reference from the good book.
Tell me.
Our creator said, we don't put new wine in old wineskins.
Correct.
Then you go ahead, you're building a new wineskin, then you're putting brand new wine in that wineskin that's going to hold something brand new. And then guess what? The drink is going to be way so sweet once you've entered, and then you've elevated to a new level. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Like, if you're going to go out, as I've done so many times, run marathons, train for something or whatever, you have to train that muscle. Your son Ivan, who's going to be my guest on Mindset Money, I'm so excited to have him in 2 weeks.
He's excited too.
That you have to train that muscle to do that thing. If it's just like this, it's not going to know what to do. And then you just feed it pills and drills and modalities, because you've heard me say surgeries, herbal remedies, pills, therapies don't cure, but the body put in the right condition can and may heal itself. You're putting the body in the right condition to restore, reclaim. And like my husband said, there's even one, I'll say this because I turned 69 last month. I can say that there is.
You look amazing. Wait, you can't just brush past that.
Okay.
You are 69.
69.
You look amazing to
Thank
be that
you.
age. So whatever holistic, not half holistic methods you're using, it's working. It's working wonderfully. So
because that's what it's all about. And this birthday is not called 69. It's called 60 done.
60
I'm done.
done.
I'm done. It's not. But what I'm saying is that I created for senior adults one for its memory, to regain memory, to go ahead. How about if you pray something in the morning? And my husband, with the stress, because stress is really, after inflammation, stress causes all disease. Of course, then we have parasites. We have one for parasite elimination, that with my mastermind that's starting on the 13th, you get that modality for free. And I will say, with the cost, with anyone on the show goes ahead and reaches out to me at 800-852-0850, purchases any program on Confidence Tones, you get a tape from me. Or if you choose to get it 10 minutes free, I'm going to do this for this next 2 weeks as being a sponsor of the Kim Jacobs Show. Because when you do better, and because you're feeling better, you will live better. And we're going to do it together. All right. So you get a 10-minute consultation from me for free if you go ahead and purchase these Confidence Tones. But check this out for a minute. If you think, okay, I know I've got a condition. Let's say pick a condition. Athena, Natasha, pick a condition. Kim, give me one.
I don't just any people. People have joint pain, diabetes, cancer.
Yes. So you've got back pain or whatever. There is just one with back pain that you listen to, and it's really best, as they say, to do it with headphones. Do it in a quiet place, because it really can mess up your driving if you do it while you're driving.
No, I won't.
There's a disclaimer that you listen there what's 10 minutes worth? Well, what if it didn't work, but at least you had 10 minutes of downtime? Would that help you in your body? Sure. If you've got a situation, I've got a client making no medical claims now, triple negative breast cancer. All right. She has been listening to the brain entrainment. Guess what happened? She is now up on her walker and she's doing the Qigong walk that I talk for the autonomic nervous system. Maybe she's just doing 5 minutes, but she's doing 5 minutes. That's more than she did the day before. So I can say when you have a situation, because this is what I'm going to end with, and I hope it was helpful.
It's been very helpful, enlightening.
In my last few minutes, if doesn't life on us? Who feels that? Put it in the chat. Life's on us. I didn't think 5 weeks ago I was going to wake up to having Niagara Falls happening through my personal closet.
Can't predict those things.
And a third of my wardrobe. Oh well, it's time to get new stuff. All right. So when life's on you, what tools do you have? See, in this world, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a stress-filled world, we don't know what we don't know until you know. Now you know. You have a tool in your toolbox. You can have this once you get a program, which is about the whole program, just price-wise, is about what you would pay for one of my hourly consultations. It's really affordable. Then you go ahead and you have this tool to know. You turn on that tool. What happens to your stress? What happens to your day? What happens to your life? We even have a whole program. I know this sounds like a commercial, but it's so amazing what it has done for elite athletes and for people that have this high intensity. Ever feel like stage fright? If you're going to be speaking, you turn the HD max vibration tone and you feel like King Kong or Wonder Woman. It just makes
right now we don't have, I don't have the feeling until I probably experience whatever you're talking about, because I feel a little bit of tension in my shoulder blades. So I'm like, what? You feel like King Kong over there? I need to get some of this going.
And I find so what I'm saying, reach out. And the other program that I have going on right now, you've heard me talk about parasites like 9,000 times. Inflammation is the #1 cause of disease, but under that is stress. But what is stress and inflammation caused from those parasites? 330,000 of them on planet Earth. 30,000 of them can be around human beings, and 300 of them at any one given time in your body. I only do this twice a year. It's the pristine clean. It's 21 days. What that program does, it will eradicate the parasites. With this, you get the confidence tones that we've created program. So you can play that, because people do cleansing, people do detoxes, but homeopathy is very precise. It's not like Spanx, ladies, that you wear one size fits most. A man would not wear one size of a jock strap. It's got to fit. Okay. So if that's the case, you've got to make sure that you go ahead and get the precise way to do this. And then you can go ahead and once for life, you do that, my program, you can do it for the rest of your life. Guaranteed. This is what happens when you retrain your brain.
That's good.
As Einstein said 70 years ago, even the Mayo brothers, when they created the Mayo Clinic, it's on Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, because I live in Florida, in Rochester, in Phoenix. It says the doctors of today will use no medicines. They will teach the patient how to heal themselves. And that's what we do with Confidence Tones. Thank you, Kim, for this platform. Reach out to me. It is drjodee.com, and it's JODEE.com. That's me. I'm here to heal you from your poop to your brain. And this time I'm saying it is through Confidence Tones.
All right. Wow. That was extremely enlightening. And if you all have questions, make sure you all reach out to Dr. Jodee Baer. And I put in the comments section already the phone number. I'm going to pop it up again, because it's a way for you to stay connected and learn more about what she's offering. So here you are. It's 1-800. Where is it? Yeah. 1-800-852-0854. 1-800-852-0854 for all of you podcast listeners as well over on iHeartRadio. That's the number for you. And you can also visit her at drjodee.com. drjod.com, drjod.com/confidence-tones to get the Confidence Tones program. Wow. Okay. We're going to keep right on moving along. And I saw people putting comments over here. We'll go back towards the end and revisit some of the comments so we can keep moving. Let's go ahead and pop our sunshine expert up, which is Athena Robertson. Athena, talk to us and tell us what you have for us today about making no excuses.
No excuses. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to all my beautiful queens on the platform. Always, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you to my sister Kim. Always giving honor to God, who's ahead of my life.
Yes,
and
preach,
this
girl.
day, this is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And so I truly thank Dr. Jody Bear for sharing with us about how to train our brain, how to let go all of the overlay of yuck in our brain and just getting a fresh start with confident tones. So that was some awesome tips, Dr.
Yes.
Jody. We truly appreciate you. Today I come to you talking about no excuses. Stop with the shortcuts.
You muted yourself.
Oh, sorry.
Good. That's I was like,
Okay.
you done leaned on the wrong button, girl. You getting comfy. Go ahead.
I was getting comfortable. You cannot pursue a journey if you're trying to take shortcuts, because shortcuts are going to get you caught up. No excuses mean if you make excuses, it's never going to get done. But if you stay the course, then you always winning. And we know, y'all know, coming from the Sunshine Expert, you stay winning when you stay the course. You stay winning when you stay focused. You stay winning when you do what you're supposed to do and don't worry about nobody else. You stay in your lane, everything else go perfect. So let's talk about it. Shortcuts. How many of you know, and we all do it sometimes, we could take shortcuts to get home. We might decide to cut down a side street. Maybe one day it might be, God forbid, we pray there's no accidents, but it could be a lot of traffic going on a side street just because the main street was crowded. I've done it. I know everybody else could probably attest to it, have done it. And once you go down that side street, we still sitting in traffic.
Yeah,
we're gonna still be sitting in traffic. So it might delay our journey about 5 minutes. When if we would have stayed on the main street,
or 30 minutes or an hour, depending upon how much.
That is true. That is true, because traffic be crazy. That is true. But the side street, if you take it, you're taking a shortcut, but it's still going to take you a while to get to where you're going. Right. Period, point blank. Or if we have something to do, if we have projects to do, and if we've done the project before, we try to create shortcuts that's going to try to get us to finish quicker, and it might delay us because we might forget a step. Yeah. We might forget a step. You might forget to put a title. You might forget what time that was supposed to be set for this project. So taking these shortcuts, what happens is it get us caught up. It will get us caught up. Prime example, working with students. Tell all the students you want to study, prepare for the test, get a good night rest, eat a good, healthy, balanced breakfast, come in ready to go. If you're going to come in the morning, Dr. Jody laughing because she know, eat a balanced, healthy, balanced breakfast, get your good sleep. Make sure you got your outfit out the night before. I'm just throwing out some things that will prepare you on this journey. You know you have a test coming up. You want to make sure that you already got gas in your car.
Hydrate, drink plenty of water.
Drink your H2O and stay in your lane, like my sister said. True. But what happens is when students come in, some of them look discombobulated. Of course, you're Sunshine Expert. This is where I come in at. I always greet you good morning, and I'm always going to ask you, how may I help you? How may I assist you today? And sometimes I get the blank stare, and I'm like, okay, let's try this again.
Right.
Whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Hey, how you doing? How may I help you? And I'm so glad you came. I might get the blank stare. So that lets me know, especially if I seen this student the day before, And I have already prepped you the day before. I was trying to help you out on your journey. So I have to, now they're going to work me a little extra hard this morning because now I got to pull it out of them. And that's quite all right. No worries. That's what I am here for. But I just wish you would have prepared and not took the shortcut. Maybe you didn't go to bed on time. Maybe you didn't eat your breakfast. Some come in there rushing because they might have left just a couple minutes late. So I have to encourage them. I call it people building. I'm going to build you up. I'm going to fill you with so much confidence. I'm going to shower you with so much love. I'm going to let all this liquid sunshine that we're having in the Queen City today and the sunshine, I'm going to let it shower you so that I get your mind ready, get your mindset ready. Because again, like Dr. Jody Bear was saying, we have to, how we train our brain, how we relax our brain, how we continue to stay prepared is what type of things do we feed in our brain? And so here it is. If you take a shortcut, the shortcut will get you caught up. Are you going to get all that you deserve taking the shortcut? Are you going to get all that you deserve taking the shortcut? Are you going to get all that you need to set out to accomplish if you take a shortcut? If you make excuses, because excuses is just going to carry you over to the next lie you're telling yourself not to do it, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. That's going to carry on into another excuse. And then here it is. Now you got about 10 excuses. 10 excuses. Which one is going to get you to your goal? None. Because they're excuses. So you're not going to go anywhere. Not at all. Not at all. So what you lose is you might lose your confidence. You're gonna lose the motivation to move forward. And you're gonna probably experience a minor setback. It could be minor or it could be major, depending on what you're working on. And with those things, now we have to, as humans, because we do it, we think we have more time to do it. You have to rework yourself even more harder to accomplish what you set out to do. And that's going to take more time. So will you reach your deadline or will you be behind in your deadline? So if you stay the course, if you stay going in the right direction, don't go left, don't go right, stay in the middle. And it's okay to glance, that's fine, but keep moving. Don't stop. You know how if we're driving down the street and you might pass by the store, I'm just hypothetically saying, y'all, and you see the brand new dress, that banging bag, or them popping shoes, that don't mean we got to stop. That is not for us to stop. That is called window shopping. You look, yeah, I'm going to keep on going because if I stop, I'm going to get caught up. I'm not going to take my credit card out. No, I was already going to treat myself to something else. So I'm not gonna deter from what's in front of me, because in front of me, since we're talking about items that the ladies like to pop, and even our gentlemen, I'm not gonna stop because it could be a banging purse up at the end of the tunnel. Them new shoes that I really wanted, I'm coming to get those. If I stay the course, I'm going straight ahead, because if I stop, I'm gonna get some shoes, but it ain't probably gonna be the ones I want. It just if you're window shopping, the gifting of the item looks fancy, is what is eye-catching, right? But is it really fancy though? Okay, so I'm just saying, I just came to talk to y'all about, hey, no more excuses. Cut the shortcuts. Stay the course, because if you stay the course, you're winning. We are in our winning season. Yesterday I heard Apostle Paul Day say, we are in March gladness. There is no madness. You got to watch what you speak, watch what you say. We are in March Madness. We are winning. We are in the third month of 2023. And we are winning on top of winning on top of winning. And it's okay to do a little bit of browsing. I'm not going to say stop and look, just browsing, but keep moving. And that way you're going to fulfill all that you need to fulfill. You're going to get your project done by the deadline. And this journey, once you complete it, the victory of you winning, it is so much greater when you started. When you started, I'm super excited. When I had a chance to start on this talk show, when my sister invited me on this talk show, who, me? Oh, okay, this is amazing. This is going to be great. This has opened up so many opportunities that I would have never thought of. What the hell? Thank you, God. I would have never thought of. I've met so many beautiful people, And not only that, not only am I an inspiration, but they have inspired me. By me meeting Dr. Jody, she inspired me holistically about being healthy.
Yeah.
Healthy without dumping a whole bunch of medicine in my body. Think about it.
Who doesn't want that, right?
Right. I have met my
No.
sister, Natasha Holiday. She has inspired me mental health wise.
Yes.
How to stay on top of our mental health and knowing when to say it's not okay. It's not okay, but I will be okay. And I'm going to be all right because I have a group of supporters. And my sister Kim, she gave us this beautiful platform to share with millions and millions of people the things that we encounter, the testimonies that we have witnessed, is also to be the witness of other people's testimonies, just to know that she's out here balancing one life at a time, and she's touched so many lives. But it's been a pleasure. And so as your sunshine expert, cut out the excuses.
Wow.
Cut out the shortcuts. Stay the course so we can stay winning.
What? Pandemonium. Okay, listen. Let me just say that was just incredible information. And the next step right there, you started off on the main floor, you went up to the next step with the no excuses. And what we're going to do is look at any studio audience comments, see what's come in so far. If you have questions about how you can get unstuck and get out of excuse mode, ask some of these questions while we're right here talking to these experts. Dr. Jody Baer is making it clear that there are some ways that we can just try it, see if it can work. Put some headphones on and just put some kind of positive excitement and just relaxing your thoughts. Just honing in on some positive thoughts that you may have versus all of the minutia that's happening around the world and the outside environment that tries to filter into our brains. It's some great stuff being shared here on the Kim Jacobs Show. So you all make sure you ask any questions. I'll do everything I can to get them answered. And if you all as experts see some questions coming in, let me know and I'll pop them up as well. In the meantime, what we're going to do is stay the course. I see you, Justine Hilliard said, great job, great information. We're going to take a commercial break and come back and hear from Natasha Holiday. I refuse to let the hour go by without making sure we get ample time for each of our experts. Is this good, this format? Y'all like this better? Okay, because normally I have like 5, 6, 7. I'm trying to cut it down to about 3 at a time and give y'all the whole free reign. All right, everybody, we're going to take another commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to hear from Natasha Holiday.
I have peace of mind with Silver Shield Security, which has been protecting my family and home, along with servicing the Carolinas for over a decade. Silver Shield Security knows the importance of convenience and safety. Whether you live in an apartment, a home, or run a business, they are here to protect you from unwanted intrusions and fires. Call now at 704-440-4688 or visit the website at www.silvershield-security.com. You can use my promo code #ToneX and get 1/2 off your installation price. Don't forget to ask about the new no money down options. Let Silver Shield Security help to give you peace of mind, just like me and my family, and keep your business safe.
Everyone, we're back and we're talking with Natasha Holiday, our mental health expert, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. She's visiting in all the way from Canada. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies. Always a pleasure to be on Freestyle Fridays and talk. I just love to talk all kinds of things mental health. And I love the synchronicity. There is stuff that Dr. Jody said. There's stuff that Athena said. And I'm like, y'all just, it's like we plan this in advance when we don't.
But you don't, right? Isn't that
No.
crazy?
So today I wanted to talk about burnout. Specifically, the funny thing is I like to speak on burnout as it relates to work, but I just want to look at burnout in general when we're feeling burnt out in life. And what is burnout? You know, we know there's times where we're tired or even feeling exhausted, but burnout takes us beyond that. Part of the things that help you know that you're burnt out is you're losing zeal for the things you normally have zeal for. Maybe there's a bit of cynicism that kicks in. you're not tapping in. There's a disconnect that's happening when you're burnt out. You're at the point where you can't appreciate the things that you appreciate about your life. Right. And the way that I think about it is, if we think about ourselves like, something with a tank, our tank is like, we're running on E. And how many times do we feel like we're running on E, but we keep going? We're trying to run on fumes. And one of the things that I hear so much that makes me laugh is when we say, I don't have time to be sick. Who schedules sickness? Who would plan for it?
It decides that you've done plenty to lead up to this. So you must have had time for it.
Doing the most. You need to stop potentially, right? You need to take a break. So I wanted to look a little bit at when we're at that point, when we are feeling burnt out, when we're just like, what is going on? Why I can't connect the way I do. I don't enjoy things. I'm feeling maybe cynical or just, just on autopilot. How do we get back? And a lot of times we think about burnout from that physical standpoint. Absolutely, you got to address the physical part. But what I love to do, especially as a mental health expert, is look at how we unintentionally contribute to our burnout by what we allow to sit in our minds. So the first thing I ask people to do is check in with yourself. I'm not 20, so I remember the tuner radios where you had to turn and try and get it in line so you could hear clarity. I often associate checking in with trying to tune your dial till you get to that place of clarity. The static is an indication that you're not in alignment yet. So you want to get clear about what's going on with you. And so checking in with yourself to say, what's my perspective? What are my thoughts saying about this thing? Right? One thing I experienced a lot, I work as a therapist, and sometimes I would be counseling people and they were struggling during the pandemic. And there was a perspective or a thought process of, this is worse for me. This is only happening to me, even though we knew it was a global experience. How are we to feel any sort of reprieve when our mind is telling us that? And the thing is, we can't control every thought that comes into our mind. So I'm not saying you control all your thoughts, but when it comes, what do you do with it? And I like to do a visualization with my clients about, if a negative thought that you have, like, this is only happening to me, comes knocking at your door, do you invite it in, make it tea or coffee, sit down with it, hang out with it? And people always say, well, of course not. But we don't recognize that's what we're doing mentally. The thought comes in and we sit there entertaining the thought, and we actually make the thought comfortable. We put its feet up, we offer it a warm blanket, we put the fireplace on, we make it a tea. We don't even realize we're like chilling and hanging out with this thought.
Right.
So this is part of why burnout can get as bad as it is, because if the thought comes, that's one thing, but one, you want to examine your perspective to see how accurate that thought was, because thoughts aren't always accurate. But what am I also doing to release it? So I always love to do this. I got my jar of water here, right? Dr. Jody's always telling us to keep our water up, right? Now look at how high this is. If this was my stress level, I only have this much capacity for what's to come. If this were my thought process and all of this was negative thoughts, no wonder I'm getting so stressed out, because I'm full of those negative thoughts.
Right.
So it's, like I said, we can't control everything that comes, but are we pouring it out? Are we doing things to release the things that don't serve us? Are we asking ourselves, is there another way to see this? Because sometimes the way we see it isn't the most accurate way to see it.
Oh.
I went into the shop on Monday to get an oil change. Simple thing, right? I'm near the end of my extended warranty. They're like, we're going to do a diagnostic and see what we can get done under extended warranty so you don't have to pay out of pocket. Awesome. Yes, we found something, but it's causing an issue that's not covered under warranty.
Interesting.
So I had to go back and spend 10 times more than I was originally spending. And I was like, where's that coming from? And I remember getting stressed out initially and then saying, pause. What are your options? Because part of what I had to figure out was, how was I going to get home in between, because my car was going to be in the shop all day. I was looking at rented cars. I was looking at this. And there was a moment where the way I was allowing my thoughts to get worked up was almost like the way you get a frappe frothing in a hot beverage. I was just letting them go, and I was getting wound up. And I had to say, take a pause. The evening I was the most stressed, I said, you're not dealing with this tonight. You're going to go to sleep and you're going to wake up fresh tomorrow and you're going to address this tomorrow. What did I remember the next day? My dealership sometimes offers loaners. So I've arranged service for when I can get a loaner car and I'm not spending money on a rental. In the midst of my fury thinking, I wasn't accessing that stuff. But it goes to show when your mind is cluttered with all the negative, with all the stuff, it's like being in a crowded room. How do you even navigate your way through it? You got to get that stop to get, okay, I got to clear and sift through some things. Does this need to be here? We talk about decluttering our house. Do we ever look at, how do we declutter our minds? Right? So we want to be releasing thoughts that don't serve us. If you're feeling burnt out, one thing I've noticed is the language of I have to. I have to do this. I have to do that. Do we actually have to do all the things we say we have to? Or do we have to do them all at that time? So it's important to evaluate, what can I put down? What can I put on hold? What can wait for tomorrow? What can wait a month? What can I delegate if there's an opportunity to delegate? Can I gift somebody with this so I don't have to?
Please, you.
Right? Checking, is there an opportunity to take a break if you need a break? How do you, and sometimes we get caught in the self-care is a weekend at a spa. Sometimes you can do something for 5 minutes and it's a little bit of that pouring out, or it's pouring in something that's good.
Yes.
I was on a live, I do Fearless Fridays on Instagram some Friday afternoons. And I was talking in a live about the fact that I was upset about, the funny thing is you barely remember afterwards what you're upset about. But I was upset and I was trying to shift that mindset. I was like, I don't want to stay in this space. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to get rid of the thoughts and that doesn't seem to be working right now. So I said, I'm going to pour in something that I know it's good. And I went to one of my favorite gospel singers and me and Fred Hammond hung out for an hour, and it took an hour for that negativity to shift. But I tell you, by the time I went to bed, my spirit, my mindset was just in such a much better place. I spent time worshiping. I spent time allowing the good to be poured in, because what it does is it pushes out the other stuff. When I couldn't figure out how to release it, I said, then I need something to get it out. Somebody to come and to say, you got to go, because we're going to fill the space with something that's good.
I love that.
You want to pay attention to what's going on up here that's part of the burnout. If you're feeling burnt out at work, how many times do you sit in the break room and have the conversations about all the stuff that's wrong with work? How is that serving you to spend time rehashing? The boss don't listen, the workload's too much. That might be a reality, but the repetition of it is not serving you.
That's right.
So
I want to say one thing right there, because I wrote a book on extreme balance makeover, and some of the things I talk about is about burnout, what you're talking about there, and what are some of the signs to look for, signs of imbalance and different things of that nature. But also this is an example of right now real life that's happening to me, and I'm going to share with you all real quick that one thing that stresses me is when my children, if they leave the house and I don't know that they're gone, that's a stressor for me. So my children know that. We have family meetings, we talk about it, and we say these are things that have to happen in order for me to have some level of mental peace and satisfaction. So right here, I just wanted to show you right here, my son is knocking on the door, and I was like, now I'm on a show right now, so why would he be tapping on the door? Guess what he was tapping on the door to say, out of courtesy. And it goes along with what you're saying, Natasha. Now, what did you just ask me?
I just tapped on the door and said, I'm about to go to the gym. So I just wanted to let her know so she's not stressing out. Never done.
Thank you. You're free to go. Okay. I just wanted to interject that, because when I say I balance my own life, and I don't always share tips here, you're free to go, sweetie. Thank you. But I don't always share tips on the show because I'm interviewing you all. I'm living this thing called life as well. And everything that I teach you all to do, I implement it as well as the balance doctor. So carry right on, Natasha Halliday, with what you said.
Yes, and I love that. I love that example, because this is the thing. I had to remind myself when I was getting worked up this week, I had to pause and say, what would I tell clients? And what do I just know? Because we're human. We're going to have these moments where, it's amazing how quickly our minds can run amok. But I had to go back to, what am I entertaining in my thinking? How are these thoughts serving me? Right? Negative thoughts will tell you you are the only one. It's worse for you. And what that does is it isolates you and sometimes debilitates you thinking, well, if it's this bad, then I don't even need to try because nothing's going to work. So we have to challenge that mindset and ask ourselves, the last part of what I want to address is, when you're feeling burnt out, when you feel you've been doing the most and you're just running on fumes, assess your capacity. If I get in my car and I have a quarter tank of gas, I don't endeavor on driving 400 kilometers. Sorry, I live in Canada.
Oh, right. You done turned everything around, girl.
Right? So I know that I don't have enough gas in my tank to take a long distance drive with a quarter tank of gas. So I have to fill my tank knowing how far it can carry me.
That's right.
We aren't always doing this in our lives. We feel like we don't have choice, but there's some areas where we do.
Yeah.
And it's us unhooking from that obligation, which obligation can be very unpleasant. We can lock ourselves into things we don't need to be locked in, and asking ourselves, what do I have capacity for and how can I proceed accordingly? So I might have the same phone call in a week. Both phone calls can say, can you do ... My response is not based on what I think of the person. My response is based on my capacity. Do I have the capacity right now to pour out, or am I running so low that I have nothing to pour out with? And it's not a lack of love. It's not a lack of anything. It's just, I have to know that if I try to pour out of my empty vessel, I'm the one trying to deal with recovering from that. So assess your capacity, proceed accordingly, do what you can. We often try to do way more, and unfortunately, that's become the culture. And I listen to the language, be on your hustle, I'm on my grind. We do these things that reinforce habits and mindsets that are not good for us. Why are we glorifying working beyond what's necessary, working beyond what makes sense? What I realized when I used to work at one job and I'd be like, I'm just going to stay an hour later so I can tackle a bit more. It's like people sensed it. So I would come into work thinking I was ahead of the game the next day, and I had twice as many emails.
Right.
So what progress had I made? So I was like, no, I'm going to work my hours. I'm going to do a great job in that time, but I don't necessarily need to work overtime in an attempt to catch up, because there will always be more.
Yes.
So part of dealing with the burnout is assessing what needs to be done, what you can put down, what are you capable of in any given moment? And how do you advocate for your own needs? Because we're so busy sometimes taking care of others. This is why we run on fumes. We forget that we also need to be poured into.
That's right.
So those are my thoughts on burnout.
I love it. Oh my gosh. I know you all, I know you all go and you hear conferences and you hear international speakers. Well, I beg to differ that yes, all of them are phenomenal. If you've been to some of these wonderful conferences, I'm taking notes and I'm applying what I'm learning from these wonderful experts across the world. But right here in the studio audience of the Kim Jacobs Show, we have experts like these that come on Freestyle Fridays, and you all should have your notepads out, or at least typing it over in the comments section what your takeaways are. If you have any questions, Natasha Halliday, how do they stay connected with you? I see at Natasha Halliday.
So yes, on IG, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook at Natasha A. Halliday. My website's natashahalliday.com. Yeah, people can get in touch, ask me questions. I'm loving this. I'm seeing some stuff in the comments and people are talking about.
Let's pull it up. Wait a minute. So at Natasha Halliday, or
Natasha A. Halliday, which is there with my name, or my website's www.natashahalliday.com, which has just recently been revamped. So I used to have more just a landing page, but now I actually have a full-fledged website.
All right, this is awesome. I'm putting that up. Let's go to some of the comments. You can read one of them and while I'm typing this back here for you. I felt like I was your representatives back here. I was typing your comments. I did a good job, by the way. So even when nobody else pats you on the back, you pat yourself, right? Like, girl, you did it. All right.
Yes, so I see Lisa Thomas has said here, yes, we must refill our tanks often. I love it. Athena Echo, do what you can and not press to overwork you, right? Justine Hilliard said that's true. As parents, we sometimes overdo trying to prove our love. And I want to touch on that. One of the things that I found very interesting was a client telling me about planning for March break with her children. And she planned so much. I said, did you miss that break was one of the words? Your kids are going to come out of March break tired. And as she thought about it, part of what drove her was social media. Now people posting what they're doing. It's like, I need to show I'm that parent too. But you know what's funny is my best memories with my parents growing up were not when we were doing the most. It was just being in their presence, hanging out, catching jokes, silly things we did. Like Friday nights was girls' movie night. My poor dad, because it was like me, my sister, and my mom. We would do makeup. We would, wear our fanciest pajamas. We would do a whole thing and kind of left my dad off to the side. But those are the things that fed my soul as a child. It wasn't what trips they took us on. It wasn't, I remember getting lessons for things. That just adds to work, because a child's work is school. We're burning out children sometimes thinking being a good parent means we're going to put them in this, we're going to put them in that. And then we're exhausted too, because we're running around every evening after work, picking this one up, doing this. I remember one parent saying, I'm tired of giving my kid takeout because we're never at home to eat. So what do you do about that?
You start eating. Did you say, we have some
to do that many activities.
Right.
Little Jimmy,
that's why I wouldn't let my children.
Swimmer, piano player, guitar player, soccer player, and gymnast. He just doesn't.
Right. Well, but with having 5 children, I could not, when they were all here, one is in heaven now, we know that. But when they were all here, I was like, okay, the 2 of you are going to play on the same team. I met with the coach to say, this one he's a giant. He's 12 and he's 5'10". He plays up. And then bottom line, I don't care about the age, so that I can come to one game. And the same thing with other things. Either if we're going to pick a season, it's not possible for one person or 2 people to be involved with all of these different things. So if you're going to do football, then we're going to take a break for another season. Then you can pick up the next season. Find something that's offered in that season, because it needs to be some type of break between it. It cannot be that we're every season we're doing something and everybody's running around in different directions. And eating, I know at my house, what we often did is these things called table topics. So if you have young children, make sure you know that the table topics are great discussion starters, conversation starters. It'll just say, like, what if you were president for a day? What would you do to change the world? And the things that my children said were game changers. One said he would create like an emotion code to determine if a person was happy or sad and how we could identify that so we could help. I was like, what? That's how you think?
Fantastic idea.
You never know what your children are even thinking. Plus, your children tell on what's happening in their school day in those conversation starters, unbeknownst to them. So keep that in mind too.
Yeah.
All right. I see much love from Dennis. I see she was great. Thank you. From Justine Hilliard. I see I'm an advocate for me from Athena Robertson. Justine Hilliard said, yes, Kim, 3 or more children, we must make adjustments. You better believe it. All right. Lots of comments have come in. Woo, we have one more episode sponsor, and we're going to be ending closer to on time today. So one of our episode sponsors is the Ghana Housing Project. Right now, there is a $1.7 million housing deficit in Ghana. And if you are interested in purchasing a home or apartments there, there's a big undertaking that's happening there. You may want dual citizenship. And this is one of our episode sponsors, the GhanaHousingProject.com. Let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. And people in Ghana, they pay 12 to 24 months in advance for their rent and their housing. So it might be something you'd be interested in. Take a look.
Ghana has an approximately 1.7 million housing deficit. The Ghana Housing Project is marketing the ability of investors to support the housing crisis. Investors can purchase homes to relocate, a second home, or rent. Nonprofit and profit organizations can acquire a home for a family. With the recent economic growth in Ghana and the African continent, with an approximately 1.7 million housing deficit, Ghana looks to create a luxury affordable housing community to support the growing middle class with the help of Investa Group under the leadership of Dr. Owusu Kizito. Ghana was recently featured as a top 10 location in the world to retire. Investa Group has started developing in Accra and surrounding areas with a goal of up to 1 million homes featuring affordable luxury 2 bedrooms starting at $51,000 and 3 bedrooms starting at $71,000. IMVG, Investa Group, and Africa Development Movement are separate companies and do not have prior affiliations with each other. Africa Development Movement does not represent the buyer or the seller and is simply marketing the Ghana Housing Project initiative. IMVG will work directly with buyers with the purchase of apartments in Ghana and investing in InvestaFund LP.
Ghana Housing Project, and I'll put it in the comments section. You can take a look at GhanaHousingProject.com. Let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. Make sure you check out ConfidenceTones.com as one of our episode sponsors today as well. And make sure that you know that you can reach out to Dr. Jody Bear, who's right here today, and she's going to be able to help walk you through that very smooth process. ConfidenceTones.com. All of the information that you need is right there. And I've also put the 800 number in the comments section for you. Thank you, Dr. Jody Bear, for being one of our episode sponsors today. All right, I have to say happy birthday as we get ready to close out to this beauty right here, my own. I would say she's like a shero to me. She at the age of 14 wanted to be able to work her first job. So she actually started working a job, a real job, real paying job. And then she also is an A honor roll student. And like you're talking about burnout, Natasha, guess what? She asked mom, can I take today off from school? And the answer was 1000% yes. As hard as you work, whether it's unexcused or excused, doesn't matter. You get today off. And I gave her that. I honored that because we don't know the stress that children have sometimes. And if they ask periodically and they are an A honor roll child, 100%, sweetie, you're off today. Happy birthday to you. She also has spoken before Congress and has helped with bills that are being passed on behalf of people that battle cystic fibrosis. And so I just want to say happy birthday to my own Jayla Jacobs. And she turned 15 today. I want to make sure that I celebrate her. And I'll just put happy birthday, Jayla. There you are. And anybody that wants to follow more of what's happening throughout the day with her, feel free to follow me over on my Facebook page on Kim Jacobs, and we're putting different shout outs and messages from different people. She has a really big gift from her godfather, Les Brown. She hasn't received it yet because we didn't open all of her gifts yet, but she has a gift coming, and her godmother, Evangelist Clara Walton, has already sent a gift, and her Aunt Sadie and all her family and friends, everybody. Miss Tanya Butler, who's actually one of our homeschool coach experts, she just sent something over to Kim to my Cash App for Jayla. So anybody that's been just supporting her, all of the positive comments that's coming on text and Facebook, thank you all. You don't have to send $1. When I asked her what does she want for her birthday, guess what she said? I have everything I need. And so that was her answer. I have everything I need. And so she did not give me a list. And normally, my kids, I'd have kids, they'll give you they'd be like, this is what we want right here. She just said, I have everything I need. So that's amazing. All right, everybody. Any closing comment from each of you? And then we're going to close out. Sunshine expert, unmute yourself. Say a closing comment.
Enjoy your Friday. Stop with the excuses. Stop with the shortcuts. Stay winning. Get out of your own way and watch and see how things move for you.
All right. Dr. Jody Bear, say a closing comment.
In life, you need to oftentimes to slow down, assess, so that you can have the life that's not with cognitive dissonance to a life of nuance.
Wow. The confidence tones might really be a game changer. I think we'll see. I'm going to talk to you about some things. I'm excited about this. Okay, go ahead, Natasha.
So another reminder to check what your thoughts are saying, pour out the negative and pour in the positive. So do your best to release those negative thoughts. Do not entertain them because they're like monsters that grow when you feed them. Wow. You want to replace that with positivity. And if you have to externally do that, find your source. For me, gospel music, worship, things like that are some of it, but find your way to pour in the positive, the healthy thinking, and release the negative.
Oh my gosh, y'all are brilliant experts. Brilliant. Michael Freeland, DJ Mike, if y'all have not connected with him on social media, make it your business to do so today. He wrote a book about freeing your real estate, meaning not housing, your mind. That's a powerful book. He says his motto to his kids is, it's your job to make it hard for me to tell you no. Success breeds access. Yes. And I see all of your happy birthdays comments to Jayla as well. I'll pop them up as we're closing out today's episode. But everyone, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Freestyle Friday experts. You're marvelous. And we will see you all again on Monday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you and make it a great day.
On Instagram now. And now I am. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is Friday Eve, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. Welcome to Thought for Thursday. It is almost the end of the week, and I'm happy, as I always am at this time of the week. I'll allow just a little more time for people to jump on in here. I am very happy to say that we are continuing our series this evening on career goals. And we've got another hot topic to talk about that's coming up here soon. So welcome, 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 everybody. And I want to let you know, number one, I've been doing this series because I feel that it's important for us to be able to get some things here still pretty early in the year that's going to help us to advance, whether that be, in our careers, advance in life, advance in, the goals and the dreams that we're inspiring to accomplish. So I wanted to do a few things. We talked about, first of all, discovering what your strengths are, finding out what they are, finding out what your weaknesses are too, but being able to capitalize on those strengths. That was the first series that we did back last month. So the end of last month and into this month, we're talking about career goals, things that you want to consider, things that you need to consider as being valuable points that you want to have or valuable elements that you want to see in your career. So that's what this series is all about. I have some exciting news about where all of this is kind of leading. I've been doing career coaching for quite some time now. Many of you know I have a number of years in HR, a number of years in training, and I definitely have a love for helping other people in identifying their career, and not just any career, but in identifying the career that you feel is going to be one of purpose, one in which you can thrive, one in which you are working in an area that has real value to you. So I'm thrilled that I'm able to do this, this series that we're talking about. But also I have some extra things that are coming down the pike in a few weeks that I'm also very, very excited about. Things that are going to even take what I have here and take it further. Because, this is just the top of the barrel here. I'm just giving you some things to think about. But in order to really make some changes in your career, some changes in where you want to go, to reach for those goals that you're truly desiring to hit, you've got to put some work into it. This is definitely an introduction to what it is that you need to do. But there are some more specific things that you need to do as well. But I want you to be able to get this at least as the precursor before we go forward. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're going to hop right on into this. So we've talked about a couple of different things already in the career. You know, last week we talked about how you can look at your hobby and take aspects of that, bring your hobby into your job, into your career, bring some of the assets that you have or that are a part of, you know, what you do in love into your career. Some of you also may want to turn your hobby into your career. We talked about that too. Well, this week we're going to talk about how it is that you can make a pretty tough decision. We talk, or I've been talking at least, about the importance of doing a job, having a career, whatever that is, whether that's you working for yourself, working for someone else, you know, whatever that is, making sure that that has some meaning to you, because it's only when you're working in a position, when you're doing something that you truly enjoy and has value to you, do you feel as though you are really working somewhere where you can thrive. You're doing something that will allow you to thrive and really live life to your absolute best. So there comes a time when you may have to make a decision, for example, if you really want to do career advancement, or do you really want to stick with that job you love? Career advancement in many instances could mean, you know, number one, just what it says, going up that ladder. Number two, it very well could mean additional income. It could mean, of course, more responsibility. It could mean a number of things. But what you also have to take into account is that career advancement doesn't always mean that you're moving in a direction that you really like. And that's where we struggle. And traditionally, it has been a struggle for women who, I mean, let's just face it, we're still expected to kind of make that work-life balance and that family work balance, you know, although we're out there and doing a lot more in the job field or in the career area. You know, bottom line is it frequently falls on us still to make sure that family is taken care of. And so that balance gets really tricky in trying to determine, well, you know, do I want to advance or do I want to stay where I am? I know that balance hit me some years back when I was in corporate America, really trying to determine, you know, do I really want to stick with this? I was given an opportunity to advance, of course, which was going to include some management responsibilities, also a longer commute. The money was going to be great. At the time, my family was still really young, and I was trying to figure out, you know, well, which direction did I really want to go? And the decision I made was the best decision for my family, and it worked out well. Well, those are the kinds of things I'm talking about. You may have to decide on, you know, when you're trying to figure out